For a while, I've been wanting to make a different type of video on YouTube, and it's a bit more personal, and it's about my immigration to the UK. Basically, what happened is when I first came to the UK, I actually made a sort of video diary about my first time in England, in London, and all those videos and all that footage got deleted. I don't really want to go into how and why. Basically, it was my own fault. But I just kind of wish there was some kind of, you know, proof, documentation of me coming to the UK. Because I think it's really helpful for other people. Because certainly when I was in the process of moving to London, I wish I had found someone to give me some advice and some tips and just share some experience. And whilst I can't give those first impressions anymore, I think I have, accumulated quite a bit of knowledge. So, I hope this helps a few people. And I did think about making these videos in German because, it's quite specific to German people coming to the UK, even though parts of it will be universal, of course. But then I thought, anyone who kind of seriously considers immigrating to the UK probably speaks English well enough so that I can make these videos in English, because I'd much rather keep them, international. So I'll stick to English, and I think I'm going to split it up into different videos. So I'm going to make a little series out of it, maybe 4 or 5 videos, maybe more if I can think of more topics. But today I'm going to start with the sort of basics, sort of why I immigrated, how it all came to be, and just the basics, because none of what I'm going to tell you otherwise is going to make any sense, because you need some context, obviously. So I've been in the UK for almost 4 years. It's about 3 years and 9 months now, because I came in late August 2011. I finished high school in June 2011, so I pretty much immigrated to the UK straight after high school. It was never the plan though, because basically what happened is I finished high school and my dream was to study photography in Germany. Only problem is, if you want to study photography in Germany, you need to have at least 12 weeks worth of internship before you can apply to a photography school or like university course. So I applied everywhere in, around where I lived, but I couldn't find any studio to take me on as an intern. I'm from North Germany, and I applied everywhere in North Germany, even like cities that are like an hour away from me. So then I was like, this isn't working. And then I considered, instead of just doing 12 weeks, maybe I should do 6 months, so it's actually worth maybe moving somewhere else for a while. So I started applying in South Germany, in like other countries. And through a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend, I heard about this studio in Fulham in London that was taking on interns. So I applied there, and I got lucky, and they took me on. And then everything went really quickly, because it was like maybe 2 weeks before I was meant to start there, I got the final yes. So I needed a flat in London. I needed, to pack. Because I was leaving for 6 months. It was quite, it was exciting, but it was a bit scary too. So me and my dad flew over to London maybe 4 or 5 days before my job there was meant to start, and we flew over to London together for 2 nights, I think, to find a flat for me, because we didn't want to rent a flat from Germany, which, by the way, is really important. If you are renting a flat in the UK, view it. Never ever 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 rent a flat from another country. You have to fly over and view it. There are so many scams, especially on Gumtree. So whatever you do, don't send anyone money before you haven't seen the flat and seen a contract. Side tip there. So we got really lucky, and we got this bedsit in Chelsea that was £90 a week, which, nowadays I'm like, how did I get so lucky? And it was not a scam, and it was fine. So we found that on our second day in London, and then on the third day we flew back to Germany. So, really lucky that my dad was, nice enough to fly over with me and help me, because I wasn't able to sign my own contract because I had no money. I was 20, just finished school, so he had to sign for me, which, very fortunate for me, he did. And yeah, so we flew back, and then I had 3 days before I was gonna go on a bus to London. Another side note, never take a bus to London. I never regretted anything as much as that, I think. It was the worst bus ride of like 23 hours. Much rather just pay 100 quid more for the flight next time, but I was really skint because I had all this money saved up for London, so I didn't want to touch that money, so I took a bus because it was 82 euros cheaper or something. Anyway, so I arrived in London all by myself, which was quite scary, but again, it was fine because I spoke English quite well, and I had this job secured, so I thought I'd be fine. So I arrived at my new place and no one let me in for about 6 hours. I was really tired, so one of my new neighbours let me come in to the house and just sit with her until the landlord finally arrived and let me into my own bedsit. And yeah, all the shops were closed, or well, they weren't, but I thought they were closed. I didn't eat when I arrived for like a day. It was just weird because I only had a day or two before my job started, so I unpacked and then I rushed into town on my first proper tube ride, tried to sort out a phone, SIM card and all that kind of stuff all in one day, tried to sort out an internet kind of dongle thing. Yeah, it was quite messy really. And then I started work, which was super exhausting. But yeah, I'm getting too much into detail here, but that's basically roughly how I came to London. And so I worked there, and I really liked it, and over the month I just felt like I need to stay here longer, because London is a city that you can't really grasp in a short amount of time. That's why I never really understand people coming here for like 2 days, because it's really not worth it. I felt kind of like I've seen things after maybe 4 or 5 months, and once the internship was over I realised I don't want to leave yet. I hadn't actually applied for unis, so it was kind of in my head, I was like, I can just stay another 6 months, I can just stay another year, because I was 21 then, and I thought, just stay a bit longer, I really like it here. So one of my friends at the time was just moving to London, and he was looking for a flatmate, so that was really fortunate for me, and his cousin signed our contract because he was more fortunate than us, I guess. And so that's how I got my second flat, and I signed for a year and stayed there a year, and once that contract was up, again I was like, kind of like it here, I think I'm going to stay another year. So I found a flatmate online through couchsurfing and lived with them for 2 years, and now I am in my 4th flat in London, and it just keeps going. Once this contract is up, I'm probably going to be like, man, I'm going to stay another year. That's basically how I got here. I formally immigrated to the UK in March 2012. I say formally immigrated because in Germany you have a registered address, and in March 2012 I unregistered my address, so I am not currently registered as a resident of Germany. I am officially a resident of the UK. I'm a German citizen, but I'm a resident of the UK. I have no insurance or anything in Germany at the moment, other than just, the standard EHIC, or however you pronounce it thing, but otherwise I fully live in the UK, and I am, what I would say, an immigrant. And yeah, this is my story, and there's a lot of layers to it, and in my next videos I kind of want to talk about topics like culture, like all the steps you have to go through, things that are different, kind of language, kind of culture shock, all these kinds of things, because while the culture, Germany, England, is very similar, there's little things that can kind of confuse you and throw you off, and it's just, it can be challenging at times, but I think after almost 4 years I'm finally kind of ready to give some advice rather than just describing what I'm doing. So yeah, I hope that you find these videos interesting, or that you found this video interesting at least. Let me know if you want me to do more of these. If you care at all, you know, any questions you have, leave them and I'll try and answer them. And yeah, see you next time. Goodbye.